So good morning, students. So center of mass, most of the concepts we have discussed. Now we will be moving into rotational motion things. I have given you some assignments also. I'll give some more. So start solving them, and doubts you approach me. You can message me. We'll try to sort your issues. And there is one more topic called circular motion. I will be taking up that after this rotational motion. This rotational motion and circular motion, actually they are coming in your class 12 syllabus as per the Maharashtra syllabus. But all these come under mechanics, so we are following a system, uh, a syllabus pattern. So in one shot we want to complete all these mechanics related all topics. So I'll be dealing with this rotation motion concepts now. Then circular motion. So we will be completing all these mechanics in one shot. So that some topics in class 11, some topics in class 12, it creates a confusion. So now when we talk about motion, we have a translatory motion. A rotational motion and a rolling motion. Three types of motion we talk about as per your syllabus. Okay. Now, translatory motion means you see the car which is going on the ground. It is a translation. Okay. It is moving from one position to another position in a linear way. Okay. The center of mass is shifting basically. The center of mass, the car is here. Now the center of mass is here. It has been shifted from this position to this position. Now this is a translatory motion. Object going in a one-dimensional motion, object going in a two-dimensional motion, projectile motion. All these motions are what? These are all translatory motions. Okay. Rotational motion means there is a fixed point about which the particle is rotating. There is a fixed point about which the particle is rotating. Now this can be a circular rotation, it can be a elliptical rotation, it can be anything. But basically there is a fixed point about which it is rotating. Now this is a rotational motion. So here we talk about linear speed, linear velocity. Here we talk about angular speeds and all these things. We will see in much detail, but the points which are very important, I am talking about that. And while discussing the center of motion, I told you that center of motion only undergoes translatory motion. Recollect that. It's a very important point. You see here, the center of motion from here, it came over here. But here, let us say the center of motion was a center. The center of motion, the center of mass, not motion. The center of mass is there only. The particle is rotating, particle is rotating around. But where is the center of mass? Center of mass is there only. Okay, so center of mass usually it undergoes translatory motion, but never rotational motion. Okay, so rotational motion you understood now? Like a wheel, you take a cycle tire, a wheel is there, the spokes. You just imagine there is a center. Imagine there is the tire is rotating. So it is rotating about which point? Let us say I am considering the center. About that point, all points are rotating. So we are talking about system of particles here. We are not talking about one single particle. Remember, the topic we are dealing is rotational motion and system of particles. So we are not talking about one particle. All these particles, let us say there are n number of particles which are rotating about the center of mass. Okay. So this is a rotational motion. Then what is this rolling motion? Rolling motion, let us say this is T, this is R. Rolling motion is nothing but T plus R. Here translation happening, here rotation also happening. Translation happening and rotation also happening. Example is, just write down. I am going to give you all these notes, okay, what is this translating motion which you have to remember and write in your board exams and all that. But we are basically focusing more on the conceptual things. So all those notes, dictation and all these things, I'll be providing you the notes. You just write down. Now, suppose there is an inclined plane and there is a wheel. There is a wheel, right? It is going like this. It is rolling. It is rolling. Alright? So, if you take this particular point, it is coming like this. It will lead to confusion. So, that's why you fix a point. You fix a point. See this point A, it is going like this, no? It is going like this. No? All these points are A points only. Here there are system of particles. If you take all particles in one shot, we will go confused. There will be confusion. So that's why you take a particular point A, let us say which is on the rim, the diameter, extreme point. So that point, it is going, that point is going motion like this, isn't it? So what is happening? It is rotating as well as it is moving forward. It is not rotating at that particular point. It is rotating and moving forward. So it is an example of translation plus rotation, which is rolling motion. Alright, so these three types of motions are there. Now, let us just quickly recollect what we have learned in our kinematics part. And let me bring a chalk. See, kinematics, basically kinematics, you only talk about displacements, acceleration, time, velocities, We had these three equations when we were talking about kinematics. Essentially, we were talking about their translation. What were the equations we were using? We were using V is equal to U plus AT, right? V square minus U square is equal to 2AS. And what? We were using S is equal to U plus half AT square. So similar type of equations we will be using in rotation also. Similar type of equations. Now when a particle is rotating, let us say it is rotating in a circular path, it is going with omega. What is this omega? It is angular speed. What is angular speed? See, originally the particle was here. After it covered theta rotation. We will not say theta distance. It underwent theta rotation, right? But the particle went from here to here. So it traveled some distance also. The particle traveled a distance. When we talk about distance, we talk about linear speed. But when we talk about angle, we talk about angular speed. So like a linear speed, what was our linear speed? V is equal to S by T, right? Displacement by time. So our angular speed will be omega is equal to theta divided by T. S ke place pe theta, T ke place pe T. So here it is meter per second. Here it is radians per second. It is not degrees per second, it is radians per second. And how to convert radians into degrees and degrees into radians, we have already discussed many times. Okay. Now, alright. So here you have a u and a v. See, all these three expressions are applicable for which type of acceleration? Is it a constant acceleration or a variable acceleration? All these three equations are applicable for constant acceleration. For variable acceleration, if you recollect, I have told that you have to use the integration calculus you have to use. What is variable acceleration? So variable acceleration means if I am writing a as a function of time, if I am writing a like t square plus 2t plus 1, if you are changing t, a is changing. So this is a variable acceleration. Can we use these three equations for this? Answer is no. cannot use. So here also we will be using similar equations. What is this u and v? Here u was the initial speed, v was the final speed. So we have similar terms here. Omega 0 is the initial angular speed, right? And omega is the final angular speed. Omega is the final angular speed. So here there is linear acceleration. Here there is angular acceleration, rotational acceleration. Carefully see this. Can I write S is equal to Vt? S is equal to Vt, right? And if you write, sorry, just write down this. Let us see a small, quick concept. See, I have some information in linear direction. How to convert that into angular direction? So you have, suppose there is a circular. This is my theta. This is my r. You know that this S is equal to r theta, right? So what is this? This is the relationship between the linear and the angular quantities, physical parameters. Theta is an angular parameter. S is a linear parameter, isn't it? S is what? Displacement. So this is S. S is equal to r theta. Differentiate both sides. I will get ds by dt is equal to r is a constant. I get d theta by dt. What is ds by dt? It is v. What is d theta by dt? It is omega. So if linear speed is provided to you, you can get the angular speed. If angular speed is provided to you, you can get the linear speed using this expression. So here, what was the definition of our acceleration? Acceleration was v. A is equal to v divided by t. So correspondingly, here also we have an acceleration. And that acceleration is what? It is angular acceleration. Okay? It is omega by t. Or in calculus we can write it as d omega by d. Right? They are simply comparable. Same equations we can use. So here what we can use this equation now. Again differentiate both sides. What you are going to get? You are going to get dv by dt is equal to r is a constant d omega by dt. Right? Differentiating both sides with respect to time. So in physics many times I have told you that you need to know a little bit of calculus. We will be using calculus. Wherever this time variable functions are coming into picture, we will be using basically calculus. This point, please keep it in your mind. Time variable functions are coming, I have to think calculus, integration, differentiation, कुछ भी रख के the unknown parameters we need to find out. What is dv by dt? Acceleration is equal to r alpha. These three are very important. Okay. What do these three tell you? They tell you the interrelationship between the linear parameters and the angular parameters. Okay. If one is given, you can find the other. Alright. Just make a note of these points. Now, coming back to our discussion. So, similar type of equation can I write here? The answer is yes. V के प्लेस में लिखो ओमेगा, U के प्लेस में ओमेगा 0, अल्फा के प्लेस में अल्फा, V स्क्वायर ओमेगा स्क्वायर, U स्क्वायर ओमेगा 0 स्क्वायर, A 2 अल्फा, S के प्लेस में थीटा. Coming to this third equation, S के प्लेस में थीटा, U के प्लेस में ओमेगा 0 प्लस हाफ, A के प्लेस में अल्फा. Finish. So like this, three comparable equations you have in rotation also. using the same concepts of kinematics what you have done in your kinematics. So you can use these equations for finding the unknowns given in the question. Okay, just make a note of these points. Now you understood how these equations have come. These are just comparable equations what you have learned in kinematics. Similar equations can be used in rotation also. So in rotational motion, we'll be mostly talking about angular speeds, angular, all these things, angular acceleration, all these things we'll be talking about. Okay. So this is one point. Often where the students get little confused or little this thing, angular frequency, angular speed. See, you know that omega is equal to 2 pi by t. Okay. A quick point about time period and frequency. We will discuss a quick point. Suppose this is a circle. Okay, and this is my radius r. If particle starts here, it completes one round. It must have taken some time. Let us say that time is 2 seconds. Let us say. So we will say this is the time period. This is the time period. It is denoted by t. Time period means time taken to complete one full cycle. Time taken to complete. Time taken to complete one full cycle is the time period. Okay? One more round, it will take another 2 seconds. One more round, it will take another 2 seconds. 6 seconds, 4 seconds. For 2 rounds, 4 seconds. For 3 rounds, 6 seconds. This is time period. Now there is another concept. Now this is a circle, let us say. Okay? The particle is here. Now let us say in 1 second it completes 20 rounds. Then in 1 second time this particle is so fast that it completes 20 rounds. Now this comes under frequency. This comes under frequency. Okay? Frequency is defined as number of cycles per second. Rounds bolo, rotations bolo, cycles bolo, all these are what? They are completing one full round, right? So frequency is defined as number of cycles per second, CPS, cycle per second. It is, unit is hertz or cycles per second. Hertz is the name of the scientist. So frequency is nothing but F is equal to 1 divided by T. It is the inverse of time period. If you find the time period, take the inverse, you get the frequency. What is the meaning of this? Frequency 1 divided by T. Why we are writing like that? See, take this example. I think the system got stuck a little bit. In 1 second, he is completing 20 rounds. So, can I say that he completed 1 by 20 rounds in 1 second? Isn't it? Sorry, in 1 second he completed 20 rounds. One round in 1 by 20 seconds. One round in 1 by 20 seconds. Isn't it? So, when you talk about cycles per second, in 1 second, how many cycles are completed? So, here 20 cycles are completed. Okay? So, if you want to know the time period, this 20 rounds in 1 second, see, 20 rounds in 1 second, find the time for one round. How much? 1 divided by 20 seconds. What is this? Time period only, no? For one round, how much time period? So, let's put it in simple way. if time period is t, frequency is 1 by t. Okay, just carefully think. It looks little confusing, but okay. So once you get the frequency, find the time for one round. You will get the time period only. All right. So now look here. Essentially, omega is equal to theta by t, right? Omega is equal to theta by t. If one full round is completed, theta becomes 2 pi. 2 rounds, 4 pi. So that is why 2 pi divided by capital T I have written. What is this capital T? It is the time period. Now this is the general expression. Omega is equal to theta divided by t is a general expression. But when the particle was here, after some time it is here. So can I find the location? Can I find the speed? Yeah, I can find the speed. If I know this theta, if I know the time it took from here to here, I can find the value of omega. Okay. Now we are talking the case when this has completed one full cycle. So one full cycle, in the place of theta, 2 pi will come. In the place of time, t will come. So this is one expression to calculate omega. But is this expression to calculate omega? Yeah, it is expression to calculate omega only. You can very well write omega is equal to d theta by dt also. All these three things are giving omega only. But this is time varying. This is calculus. Okay. So omega is equal to 2 pi by t. Can I write 1 by t as mu? In some books they write it as mu. In some books they write it as f. This mu is angular frequency. Okay. You can call it as f also. Okay. So omega is equal to 2 pi mu or 2 pi f. Okay. So these are the expressions to calculate omega. These are the expressions to calculate omega. So this is how you calculate omega in the this thing. Some issue is coming with. All right. So that is what it is. So we have discussed the point about omega also. So one equation we have forgotten actually. You remember distance traveled in the nth second. One time one student also asked me how that expression has come, please explain. So similarly, what is the angle traveled in the nth second? So let us first understand distance traveled in the nth second. So suppose one object is at O and now it is at A. It traveled for 5 seconds. Okay. So after 1 second here, 2, 3, 4. After 4 seconds it is here. In the 5th second, it traveled this much distance. Okay. So yes, 5th is equal to, let us say this is x. This is the distance traveled in the nth second. Here it is 5th second. It can be nth, some n value, some 7, some 9, some 12. So distance traveled in the nth second. Here it is x. This is what we are finding out. For this we had an expression also. What? S is equal to u plus half into 2 half a into 2n minus 1 if I remember. Let me just confirm it. Okay, this was the expression. So similarly, here also, suppose a particle is rotating. After 1 second it is here, after 2 here, 3, 4, 5. So from here to here it went in 5 seconds. From here to here it went in 4 seconds. So what is this? This is the angle travelled in the nth second or the 5th second. So similar expression can be written here. We write here yes n. So correspondingly we write here theta n is equal to, in the place of u, omega 0, in the place of a, alpha by 2 into 2n minus 1. Okay, into 2n minus 1. This can be derived very easily. Let us say from here to here it is, I am calculating as s. Can I use ut plus half at square? Okay, ut plus half at square. But since we are talking about nth second, what is the time here now? N seconds. Half a into n square. In the place of t, n will come. Total n seconds are there. Okay, we are finding the distance in the nth second. N5 is there. Similarly, n seconds can be there. So nth second will be, we are finding what is the total distance. This is the total distance traveled in n seconds. So I will now find out Sn minus 1. That means when it was 5, I was finding 4 seconds. So total distance traveled in n minus 1 second. Right? So this will become, in the place of t, same expression, in the place of t you have to put n minus 1 now. Understood? So difference of these two, equation 1, equation 2. Difference of these two, this is 5 seconds, this is 4 seconds. This is n seconds, this is n minus 1 second. This is the s nth. So s nth is equal to, take the subtraction. un cancelled, minus u. So we are taking minus 1, equation 1, equation 2. 1 minus 2, you get u here, right? Half a, okay? Half a will remain half a only. So here it is n square. This is n square plus 1 into n square plus 1 minus 2n. So n square will cancel. You will get 1 minus 2n. Sorry, you get minus 1 plus 2n. Because you will get here minus 2n. When you are doing 1 minus 2n will become plus. And here plus 1 is there. It will become minus. You can simply expand and write it. You can see that you have got this expression. Similarly, you get this expression in the case of rotation. Okay, so these are some of the points. Okay, just note it down. It's an interesting question. Let us see. The motor of an engine is rotating about its axis. So when we will be getting into this rotation chapter in depth, we will be understanding these terms, what is rotating about its axis and all that. Alright, we will see all those things in depth. So it is rotating about its axis with angular speed of 120 rpm. rpm means rotations per minute. Rotations per minute. Rounds per minute. Cycles per minute. Alright. If it comes to rest in 10 seconds after being switched off, assume constant deceleration. Constant term. That means you can use those equations, what we have discussed just now. Find the number of revolutions, number of rounds it made before coming to rest. See, there is a motor, and the motor is making a particle, a mass to rotate in a circular fashion, let us say. You use the electrical power and you make this particle rotate around, So what it is doing, its angular speed is 120 rotations per minute. In 1 minute, it is 120 rounds it is making. Alright. Now suddenly what you did, you switched off. What will happen? When you switch off, will it suddenly come to stop? It will not come to stop because of its inertia. Okay? It will take some time to come to stop. How much time it took? 10 seconds. Alright? Now you have to find out, before coming to stop, then also it makes some rounds. How many rounds it made? That is the question. So first you need to convert our basic information. This is the frequency what they have given you. Now look here, the frequency is 120 rotations per minute. It is 120 rotations per minute. Let us say, understand this way. Because we are dealing everything in the SI units, we have to convert this into seconds. So 120 rotation divided by 60 seconds, I can write I can write this as 1 minute, no? 1 minute has got 60 seconds. So it is 2 rotations per second. This is the first step. Okay? Do not work in the same unit what they have given you. Sometimes you can work depending upon the question, but most of the times convert that into rotations per second. Once you know the f value, you can find the omega value. 2 pi f. So 2 pi f, so 2 pi into 2, it is 4 pi radians per second. Make a habit of writing the units with the speed. Now, how the motor started? When the motor started, there was no speed. Then it picked the speed, right? So, in the question, omega 0 is equal to 0. Alright? Now, time is given as 10 seconds. And he is saying that constant deceleration. That means alpha value. When we did this problem, applied the brakes, we put retardation, right? A car is going, we put a brake. Acceleration was in the opposite direction. It was retardation. Similarly, you suddenly switched off. This is the case of, say, in rotation. Okay? So here alpha will be negative. So we have to find out now what? So we have to find out number of revolutions. So number of revolutions means we have to find the value of theta. So let us, so can we directly find out theta value? Theta is equal to omega 0 t plus half alpha t square. This was what? Right? So here omega 0 is given as 0, but we need to find the alpha value. If you know the alpha value, you can find the total number of total revolutions it made. Total theta it dispersed. So let us find the alpha value. So alpha value can be find out by that v is equal to u plus 8 is there. So here omega is equal to omega 0 plus alpha t, but here it is like this, right? So can we find out the value of alpha? Omega is how much? 4 pi. This is 0. Alpha we don't know, into 10. So from here we get alpha is equal to 4 pi by 10 or 0.4 pi. So once you have known this value, put it here. So theta will be equal to 0 plus half alpha. It is 0.4 pi into time square. What is time given? 10. 10 square. So it is 100. 100 divided by 2, 50. 50 into 0.4. How much? 20. It is 20 pi. Look here carefully. Theta is 20 pi. Now come here. Theta 2 pi. 1 round. 4 pi. 2 rounds. 6 pi. 3 rounds. 20 pi. How many rounds? 20 pi by 2 pi. 10 rounds. Okay? So this is how we are supposed to solve this question. Okay? Hope I have been very much clear. How many rounds it made? Understood why I have used this? 20 pi means it is not 20 rounds. We have to convert that into our information. 20 pi it traversed. तो पहले 2 pi गया, फिर दूसरा राउंड, तीसरा राउंड. After third round 6 pi. After 10 rounds 20 pi. Okay? So let's meet in the next class and see some more concepts. Till then, take care. Bye bye.